It's another Celebrity Friday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I'm Mariah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hi, ladies. How are you?
Fine, thank
James
you.
Bond, how are you doing?
James Bond of Your View.
Thank God.
Let me start with Mariam. Let me let you catch your
Yeah,
breath. How are you, Mariam?
I'm fine. It's the weekend. It's Good Friday. It's, so we're happy and excited. Tomorrow I'm going to Shagamu for my husband's aunt's 1 year since her passing. So I think Yoruba people like to celebrate and celebrate. So there's going to be like a celebration of her life. Yes. And then today is Regina's birthday. Yeah. Regina, our makeup extraordinaire, is her birthday, and her bestie, her Abike, Ada says I should please let her know that this shout out is coming from her. So Regina, have a wonderful, wonderful birthday, and we wish you many, many, many more years. Yes.
So, happy birthday, Regina. Regina, for me, is one very hard-working, dedicated, multi-talented young lady. Not young, but young lady. And what I like about her, because it fits in with what we said yesterday, Regina saw my pictures on Instagram and felt that because when I switched to using my phone for pictures, that my editing wasn't good. And she came to me and said, "Well, your pictures are not fine anymore." And she now introduced me to apps I could use to edit, sat down in the car and taught me how to use it. And for me, I would always appreciate that, because you don't talk about what I could have done or what I'm not doing at my back. Come and tell me how I can be better at it. And she exemplified that. So I wish you all the best. Wedding bells, Landuro Day, you know what we're saying. God is going to make it happen.
But I mean, I'm happy. Regina, she's a nice person. She's very composed. During her holidays too, she'll call me and say, "Ma, are you watching TV?" I said, "No, I'm not watching. I don't like the way the ex-person looks." So I have to now call the office to try to adjust it. So she's working even outside the office. So she's a cool person. Happy birthday, Regina. How are you doing?
You have to add your voice.
Add your own 2 cents.
I don't finish because she's my business sister, always troubling me. I wrote it this morning on her page, that troublemaker. Regina, happy birthday. She's a multitasker, jack of all trades. She's a makeup artist, caterer, tailor, event planner, photographer.
Yeah, she started her sewing as well.
Okay, anyway, how are you doing?
Certainly not doing fine. Leaving home early, I think I should just sleep all through. It's not worth it getting and sitting in traffic for hours.
When did you leave the house?
But the traffic this morning, I left at 6. I even left earlier than usual. The traffic this morning is all the way to Isolo on your way to Mile 2. So whatever they claim is the excuse, they should please. I pity for people. Come and see the madness. So one way is normal, starting from Oshodi. Nobody is sending anybody. We did not see traffic management on the road at all. Agberos were the ones managing traffic this morning. All the way to Mile 2. I'm saying it is a fact. You can find out.
Today is Good Friday, guys. Goodness. Can we just acknowledge that today is Good Friday?
Yeah, I was supposed to wear this casual top and trouser, and then when we found that there was a swapping guest, and I realized today is Good Friday, because the Orthodox churches, so those of us in Pentecostal churches are not celebrating the occasion, but for me this is even more important than Christmas, because this is the basis of our salvation. We wouldn't have Christianity if Christ didn't die. So it's not celebration as much as retrospective thinking.
So happy Good Friday to everybody out there. My husband's driver is Muslim, so he was supposed to come to work today. He was like, "No, he's enjoying Good Friday." I was like, "Are you Muslim?" I go, "I should know."
Oh my goodness!
I love your off-shoulder.
Actually, I'm not comfortable with it, so I've asked for a shawl. I'm asking for a shawl.
No,
I'm not very comfortable with it.
It's not bad, it's nice.
I'm not.
But you have to be comfortable.
Yeah, so
I'm the one that likes bearing it all.
When we come back,
you'll be in a show.
I'll have a shawl and I'll have the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. Now I'm Let's start with the nation. Or not get convicted. Should I count the tribunals, what the tribunal said?
Just count it, please.
Onoga is removed from office as the Chief Justice of Nigeria and Chairman, National Judicial Council and Chairman, Federal Judicial Service Commission. That's number 1. Number 2, the defendant is barred from any public service for 10 years. Number 3, the money in the 5 accounts which the defendant has failed to disclose is hereby confiscated, seized, and forfeited to the federal government of Nigeria, as it is crystal clear that such money was acquired illegally. Now, 2 die in the Ibadan petrol tanker fire. Buhari signs 30,000 naira minimum wage bill. Last man has power to arrest, says CEO. And 164 APC reps elect back by Jabia Miller. All the stories are in Nation. So let's just pick one. And we do Onoge. Yeah, your uncle. Yeah.
He's Tapa's uncle now.
Dima's daddy.
It's just a case of interest.
Right.
So finally, the CCT's judgment was read yesterday, and he was found guilty. He's said he's determined to go on appeal, which I would respect. I wouldn't expect him to take it lying down.
Of course.
But then we saw how his no-case submission was ruled against, how he had to enter his defense, how his defense could not bring the 3 witnesses they wanted. We were only able to bring one, which was his driver. And it wasn't really linked as such to his case because he didn't fill the form. But hopefully,
as much as I understand the case of the federal government, you know, when you hear figures like 47.8 million naira in the 5 accounts, that's not a lot for a chief justice. I mean, for me,
the real crime, Murayo, is that he did not declare the assets in his form. So that already...
When I see...
His account might be questionable for a judge because as a sitting judge, as anybody on the bench, you don't have any right. Like presidents, they could farm, but as a sitting judge, you can't do any other business. The reason is so that they make sure that you don't have any questionable influences from outside. So, and only what is paid to you. And the calculation is not based on, if what he has total is not based on what he's supposed to earn in those 5 years, is questionable.
Lima, is this going to sanitize the judiciary system?
Hopefully. I don't know. Hopefully. We have 2 cases already. We have the case of the other judge we took, Ajumagobia, and this one. So hopefully, the bench has to be sacred. It's a sacred place. Well, it's where you go and find justice. It's not where you find stains and all this.
So how it goes. I
hope they can sanitize.
Okay, let's move on to the Punch. Cheers, jeers, as CCT sacks Onoge. Cab driver, nursing mother die in Oyo tanker fire. Buhari not against my Senate presidency bid, says Ndume. Ghanaian Adams to Femi Adesina, tell Buhari Nigerians are hungry. That's because on top of saying that there's a possibility that he doesn't have an idea what's going on. Zamfara raids. NAF investigates dead civilians' names. Troops arrest local government vice chairman. Lagos family seeks inspector's conviction for killing Legion officer. Buhari signs 30,000 naira minimum wage bill. Senate keeps mum on Mina's probe report after 1 year. And will triumph over terrorists, bandits, and kidnappers, says Buhari. Okay, let's talk about the Legion officer. Who has that story?
So, a man, Ademola Moshood, was killed in March, I think. Yes, March. And he was on a bike on his way from work. And the police officer, his name is Paul Joseph, Police Inspector Paul Joseph, had stopped him and asked for a 200 naira bribe. And since the Ademola refused to give it to him, he cocked his gun and he shot him and he died. This is a man who was coming from work. He has a wife and he has a child and a pregnant wife at home. So the family are insisting and asking the governor and the police to please not sweep this case under the rug. The person, Paul Joseph, should make sure that, you know, justice is served concerning this case.
Really sad. I mean, we hear the stories every day.
I feel bad that we have to get to the media before we get justice, though. You know, because a lot of people are on my case, sending me DMs and sending me private WhatsApp messages that I should bring their stories of injustice to TV. And I said that, how long, how many things are we going to, how many people will have the opportunity to have their stories in Punch or investigators carry out? The system should work. If you kill somebody, you should be prosecuted. I don't need to get media to fight for me.
Okay, let's speak almost the tanker story. Let's take that story right away.
Oh, no, it's in the Sun and there was a picture with it.
Yeah. What are the 30,000 minimum wage? Let's take it up because you know its time has gone.
Signed in the finally into law, and it's of course taking effect from immediately. So I'm hoping that the NLC can work towards the living wage, because this 30,000, yes, is now going to be the minimum everybody should earn across both private and public, but is it payable? And is it even worth living on?
That's even a different conversation. One other thing that was also in that same bill is the fact that companies with less than 25 people are not obligated to pay that amount. So you are free to pay. You don't have to pay that amount.
And also if you work on a ship, a sailing ship, also.
So, but everybody else.
But aside from that, you see, the thing is, not everybody is going to work in a formal sector that will earn a salary. And really, even at that, 30K is still not enough to cover our basics. Because if you, rather than us struggling to pay this 30,000 naira minimum wage, I would prefer, because I'm not earning salary from the government, that the government puts in infrastructure, let the the hospital work, let the educational sector work.
Yeah.
The paper carried the story that 60 million Nigerians are illiterate. And this was from permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education. So if 1/3 of Nigerians are illiterate, that means we have a major crisis ongoing, and then you want to pay more salaries. That's just one out of the issues.
As I said, it's a good news for lots of workers out there who are earning like 15,000, 20,000. So I don't know, but how is it with immediate effect?
Yes,
with immediate effect.
So if you work 25,000 by end of this month, you earn.
This is first binding on the government. Let's see all the states comply before you come and hold private organizations to. Is the truth now?
Okay. Stop being a rebellious citizen, Tope. Please comply.
What is an entrepreneur?
Very soon you start hiring with You're still safe because I don't think you have 25 staff
yet.
Make
the kind of money that you can.
Okay, let's move on to. Are we in Daily Sun already? Daily Sun. As CCT convicts ex-CGN guilty as charged. Let's see a story we haven't taken. 30,000 minimum wage takes effect. The tanker, 2 dead, 5 cars burnt in Ibadan fuel tanker explosion. Senate President Oshibajo didn't tell me to drop ambition, says Ndume. And I'll reject ministerial appointment if offer, says Kalu. All right, let's take the tanker.
The tanker. Another story of the tanker falling over. It was trying to make a turn in the corner and then it dropped. But again, Nigerians were out with buckets, scooping up oil, fuel. 2 incidents that were reported. A man was in a car with 2 kids and his wife. He was able to get out with his 2 kids, but the wife was strapped in and she couldn't get out. So, you know, she caught fire. Another cab driver had come out of the cab to scoop up fuel. Meanwhile, the passenger was struggling to get out of the car while he was scooping oil, and she got caught in the fire as well.
Oh, my Lord.
It's sad. Nigerians, why don't we just run away from the scene? Why do we still go and carry buckets? They talked about a woman who was able to get 2 buckets of fuel and, you know, like she had a success from doing that. You know,
you cannot remove poverty from this thing, no. You really can't, honestly.
No, is this poverty?
If you're educated and you're financially, I would not go there and do that. None of us here would do that. Those doing it, look at them. In actual fact, they need it. So you must work together. It can't be one-sided. Don't say just ignore it. You must create an environment that will make it conducive for them, that they will see it and not be bothered.
Anyway, the senator-elect for Abia State, Carlo, was saying that if he's offered ministerial position, he won't take it because he's been elected by the people to represent them. So he's not going to take any.
I consciously didn't want to take any of the issues with the National Assembly because it's all back and forth, and we agreed on the set that we should let internal politics and whatever they want to do there take place when they are sworn in
at an event.
Yes, when they are sworn in, we will now start holding them accountable to ensure that their laws protect us.
Moving on now to Vanguard. CCT axis on again. We talked about that already. Let's take a story we haven't taken. Trucks drivers attribute gridlock to constant extortion and demurrage. That's your people, right? Oshodi Apapa Expressway. FG to maintain current forex policy, says Lai Mohammed. Prices of rice, others drop in March, says NBS. And Easter, Buhari laments killings. Let's start with the demurrage issue, extortion and truck drivers.
A man called Boyega, based on the investigations of Vanguard, explained to them that those that you see, the queue isn't their fault. These are the truck drivers, that it's not their fault, that the Joint Task Force actually charges people between 24,000 naira to 45,000 naira daily for you to go through. So if you are on a particular queue on the expressway, you must pay 3,000 naira to 5,000 naira to remain on that queue. Some people bypass it by paying the 25 to 45,000 naira. So it is man-made issue, and many people are profiteering from this. So I think that if Vanguard could have gotten information from one of the drivers, it means that the government cannot say, or that they are unaware of the fact that some people are profiteering from it. And as long as they continue to profiteer, the queue will get longer. So Nima faced traffic today. One way is a normal thing.
No, not today. The entire week, for the past 1 week, every day. So I know for a fact I have seen them getting paid. I've seen the payments happen. So they park on the roads and boys come. I usually assume they are agro to take from as low as 1,000 to 5,000 for them, to park them on the road while we are stuck in traffic waiting for them to find space.
The one that finally leads to my area, sometimes you see military officers direct traffic. So it makes traffic easier for those of us that have to turn around the bridge. But some days they're not there and the whole thing just scatters and you cannot move. So So maybe we should have those military officers
everywhere.
all down
we have militarized
along the thing.
We have them at Ijegwu-Egba.
Because when they are
there are killings taking place in Zamfara. There are killings taking place around the country. You need military there. You need military to now direct traffic.
Going back to what you said, we can't act as if the governor doesn't know. The government doesn't know about this extortion going on the roads. So that we now need to hold them accountable, because somebody needs to investigate and put those people, arrest those people and put them to book, because that's what's causing that's part of what's causing the problem.
Exactly. And do you think, like Mariah said, they turn a blind eye and act like, someone needs to tell them what is happening.
Lai Mohammed is talking, our minister.
Our Minister for Information is giving us breakdown concerning the foreign exchange, saying that there would be no change in the price. So currently we have a modulated foreign exchange. We don't have one figure. We have multiple figures that has been created by the CBN to ensure that some essential areas of the country is subsidized while luxury is still paying the maximum. So people didn't agree with it, but it has sort of stabilized us to a large extent. IMF is not in support. Moods are in support that we're able to have a sort of form of stability in our foreign exchange. Even though stability means that some are exchanging money for 300, some are exchanging money for 325, some are exchanging money for different amounts of money, but it is sort of modulated. So that's just it. We're not changing it anytime soon.
Okay.
This is in response to the IMF complaining that we should have it should be deregulated, it should be allowed to float. We won't make it float. Okay.
Let's move on to the New Telegraph. Let's see, is there any other story? FCTA invades nightclub, arrests 30 nude dancers. Ibori appeals conviction, takes UK to European court. Man remanded for abducting, infecting boys with HIV. I didn't find that story. I don't know if you guys found it.
No, we didn't.
And I think that's the other story. So let's talk with the go-go girls. I mean, the, what do you call it? The nude dancers.
Go-go dancers.
Go-go dancers.
So Malum Umar Shaib, who is the coordinator of Abuja Metropolitan Management Council, and he says this club has violated the laws concerning what the buildings. It's a residential area. That club wasn't meant to be there. It's supposed to be for clinic or health facilities. Yes, health facilities. So what they are going to do is they're going to turn it back to what it's meant for. The girls that have been arrested will be handed over to the Social Development Secretariat for rehabilitation.
Mariah was asking, do they need rehabilitation?
So I'm wondering.
Some of them, because let's assume everybody has a, they came by their own free will, but some of them might have been forced into it. So I think rehabilitation is another.
So troops have arrested. There's Operation Sharandaji in Zamfara State right now. There's Sharandaji. Okay. The vice chairman of Anka local government, his name is Mr. Yaozu Wuya, is allegedly linked to bandits that are raiding the community. They said he gives them information on where things are and how things are going on within that Wuya and Sunke communities. So based on the April 13 credible intelligence linking him to the bandits, he has now been arrested. So we're expecting to see some form of reduction. Also, I took the story on Monday about the fact that community leaders in Zamfara are saying that the attacks that were carried out by the Nigerian Air Force was on civilians. Now the Air Force has constituted a high-powered high-powered panel of investigation into the matter to confirm if indeed...
okay, we're kind of used to this rhetoric all the time, high-powered and committees and people...
But at least we're seeing them investigating...
Anyway, let's just move on. This day, I was going to mention that Arise Fashion Week begins today at 3 p.m., which is great stuff. Naomi Campbell is around. She's moving to promote African fashion, which is great stuff. So that starts at 3 p.m. today. So fashion lovers, it's your season. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll discuss a trending topic, and more importantly, later, we have with us the special advisor to the president on diaspora matters. This is Honorable. She's still Honorable. She used to be Honorable. She'll always be Honorable. Honorable Abike Dabiri. She's in the building, and we're going to discuss the issues of Nigerians abroad and all the things that have been in the papers recently. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So the Nigerian image to the rest of the world has become obviously really deteriorating from issues of incessant xenophobic attack to the green passport becoming something of an emblem of shame sometimes, also the mass exodus of Nigerians leaving the country, professionals leaving the country. How did we get to this point? And how can we even adjust the issue of image, of Nigerian images, and also more importantly, the recent sentences of Nigerians, especially in certain areas for drug abuse and I think robbery and robbery. Yeah. So we have with us, joining us now to discuss this, is a senior special assistant to the President on Foreign Affairs and Diaspora, Honorable Abike Dabiri. Welcome to the show, madam.
Thank you. Good morning. It's always a pleasure being with the girls.
So it's our Celebrity Friday, but we thought, let us bring you because this matter is really pressing. Yes, you can call us on 070-806-68014. You can also tweet to us at TVC, and please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Okay, we're going to start very quickly from the obvious, the Kudirat Afolabi's execution. And when we heard the story, what was disheartening was it was almost as if it came to us unaware that we didn't know about it. It just happened. How could how could an execution have occurred on a citizen abroad without you, the Foreign Minister of Foreign Affairs, or even the Consulate General there, our consulate there, I've been aware of it. I'm hearing it.
Well, first is I want to just take up on your intro. The Nigerian, there's nothing shameful about us.
Okay.
When we talk about Kudirat and the UAE robbery, in that last month, almost every week, we've had success stories of Nigerians in the diaspora. Okay. But it's just a bad news trends. Yes. Just 2 days ago, 2 physicians in America set up one of the very best outfits in the U.S., celebrated by even the Americans. We had Stella, is it Menelo? I'm sorry, I'm mixing up the name, who made history in India. She broke a 100-year record in India. That has never happened before. We had the 8-year-old boy who became a chess champion in America. We had the girl, Bisadeleke, who got admission to 20 universities in America. And she, reluctantly chose Yale, So, and we do that all the time. We tell the good stories, but bad news travels fast. So there's nothing to be ashamed of. Nobody is all bad. No, please, nobody is all bad.
Yes.
Even countries that we celebrate, it's just that they don't, there's a way they brand themselves. We're not all bad, but let us do what we can to celebrate the goodness in us and the best in us. If one Nigeria commits a crime, 10,000 are doing great things. Okay. And what we intend to do as the Diaspora Commission hopefully comes on board is to, celebrate the good stories and work on diaspora investments and things like that while we intervene in the negatives.
So
back to Kudirat now. 20 Nigerians on death row in Saudi Arabia. I mean, the mission is aware, the ministry is aware, but in the meantime, in as much as they knew, they had been appealing to Saudi, hoping that Saudi would not kill them, but it didn't work. So by the time they executed her, actually, I also read it in the papers.
Right.
And Saudi said, well, it's their law, and they could execute them anytime they want. But the embassy, the mission in Saudi, our mission had actually been talking to them, begging them not to execute and all that. So, and even the Pakistanis, the Yemenis that were executed, they just execute and they tell you the name of the person next day. So out of the 20 there, 8 have been killed. When they'll kill the next one, you're just going to read about it. So, and that is their rule.
So the Consul General, the Nigerian Consul General in Saudi Arabia, MS Yunusa, also said that he had written the Minister of Foreign Affairs twice, in 2018 and 2019, and he said he used the term diplomatically slow in responding.
Well, you see, I get what you, but I think it would be unfair to put that question to me.
Okay.
So you'll have to find out whether truly the minister got the letter. Okay. If he did get the letter, did somebody hide the letter? Could there be? So I think you should direct that question in fairness to the minister. Okay. But when we got to know about the execution, I did, what I had to do.
Okay, so my question next would be, okay, when you see something like that, I'm expecting, did you have a conversation with the minister?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, yes. So
absolutely. Yeah. The thing is, as I'm speaking to you, the mission has actually been intervening, in the issue of execution in Saudi Arabia. But let me tell you what worries us even more. As I speak with you, there are about 3 or 4 Nigerians who haven't actually been tried. They're waiting to be tried. But it's been discovered that the drugs were put in their bags. Yeah. You see, the 20 from the report that I saw eventually, actually had the drugs on them.
Okay.
But there are some that, and we're intervening in that case now, we're hoping we succeed. The people have been captured in Kano, 7 of them. Yeah. And they've confessed that, they put the drugs into the bags, the mislabeled bags. Yes, what Nigeria is trying to do, we're talking to the Saudi authorities now that we need to save this because Saudis, well, they have been very hard with their laws. So if we do not move fast, and they don't hear from us on time.
On the issues of drugs, some drugs here are off-the-counter drugs here, and they are banned in Saudi Arabia. Cola nuts, for instance, is a go-slow traffic snack. Do you understand? And it is a drug in Saudi Arabia. There's this clash of laws, which we must do enough. We can't do enough, Seth.
Absolutely.
To talk to Saudi people about them, because a Nigerian can have cola nuts on them.
I think we should be talking to ourselves.
They can have painkillers on them. I saw the advocacy when it started in 2017.
We did that.
When Ad was getting ready, and they were saying, don't travel with this, don't take mentolator
quantity of cola nut. So there should be more awareness in that regard. But wait, those being killed. It's not cola nuts. That's so tramadol, heroin, cocaine.
So at the time of the counter.
No. But this volume.
At the time.
Maybe, but the look volume. At in the midst of all this, another Nigerian, while we're still saying, Saudi, please don't. Can we appeal to you? Keep appealing. Another Nigerian carried cocaine, 1,158 grams.
Okay. So I'm happy you mentioned the fact that there was an ongoing investigation. It's been concluded that a particular airline, can I mention the name?
Yes,
you can.
Ethiopian airline.
All the cases.
Everything's
all
out there
the
anyway.
cases. All the cases. Have been
Those
Ethiopian,
three.
No, 2, Ethiopian and Egyptian.
Yeah.
All the cases. It's never been Emirates or Saudi Air or Medview or any, only those 2. So we are saying that it must be compulsory to make baggage identification. Look at this girl of Zainab, one of the cases that President Buhari has decided that we must intervene and save her. They came to the airport, checked their bag, and realized that it was not up to the weight. And they said, this is your bag. Sure, your bag is light. Yeah. So she went to get her yellow card. By the time she came back, your bags have been checked. They're boarding. So she boarded. She's a student here. She got to Jeddah, and then, a lot of time you've checked into your room, and then they come knock on your door. You got a bag. And the poor girl says, I don't have a bag.
So they said they printed out an extra slip and packed the bag for her.
And then you now pack the bag and put her name. Okay, so that has happened in a few cases.
What would they do with this case?
Yes. No, that's why I'm saying that in this case now, Nigeria is, what is
the intention then when they do that? Is it, no, wait. Is it because what happens in her case, she was caught, they found that she had the drugs in her bag. Is it that there's someone from the airport that will come to her office, to her hotel to collect?
No. Usually, yes. I don't know. I mean, I can't understand how it's done.
Because the investigation is going on.
Usually, I guess there's someone that picks up at the airport. But sometimes something goes awry. Right. I think. Yeah. But it starts from here. The baggage handlers apparently were paid money to do that. And I'm told 30,000 naira to do that. So I just want to say it's a huge cartel. But the key thing you should be asking is they should be able to arrest them in Nigeria.
Right. Exactly.
Before you even get out of the country.
Let's talk about Nigerians. Let's talk about Nigerians.
We should increase surveillance, security surveillance at the airports.
Let's talk about Nigerians in the diaspora, especially when they get into trouble. The missions that are there, are they accessible? I mean, what can Nigerians in the diaspora do knowing that, okay, I have somebody who can defend me? Even if you are rightly or wrongly accused of crime, Nigerians don't feel like they're safe. They don't feel like you're working in their interest. Can you help allay those fears of people?
Well, actually, we've intervened in a lot of cases, and a lot of our missions have actually been proactive. You just don't hear the stories. There was a case of a particular lady that I said, after this had been done, why don't you go on air or tell the people what this particular mission did in your case? So it may not be all cases, it may not be all missions. Some are probably better than others, and we continue to ensure that we all improve in our jobs. Right. But Nigeria does intervene, at least. With the coming of President Buhari, who actually had instructed that wherever you can, make sure you do that. Sometimes you succeed, sometimes you don't. But when the cases do get out there, we do all we can to ensure that Nigerians do get, it's going to get better. Okay. More so with the commission specifically, try to work with the missions.
Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So let's go to the Dubai armed robbery because you're still on the...
I was going to ask that. We keep hearing government saying we're doing all we can, but what is the all we can? What exactly does that entail? What are you doing specifically?
No, you see, the cases, you have to be case specific.
In the case of what is going on in Saudi Arabia, where Nigerians have been convicted and those that have committed the crime, those are going to die, right? Those that we have proof that they are innocent. What is the all we can?
I'm telling you now that the Attorney General, as I speak with you, is on the matter.
Right.
To ensure that this is solved. To ensure that at least these cases we have do not
she will go to
suffer.
Dubai.
So we should
monitor.
monitor.
Go to Saudi Arabia. They will go there.
No, there's a procedure for it,
okay.
which is a legal procedure, and it's a government to government. And
so we'll monitor Zainab's procedures. Yes,
we
all right,
should.
let's move to the issue of Dubai because we're really some of our boys were convicted and you were accused.
No, they were arrested.
You're arrested. You were accused on the papers for being ethnically insensitive, you know, by mentioning names of where they're from. Tell us about that. Where's the case? What happened? And where's the case as of
You see, that's not the first case that we've mentioned the names. I mean, you committed a crime. And I think it's shameful that we're tribalizing crime. Like somebody said, maybe we should be federal character to crime. You know, so it's really not something we should be excited about. Abegunde, some gentleman, it was all over the media. And by the time we're done with the case, he's been jailed for fraud in America. He actually, you know, called us out. The family actually called us out. What are you doing? By the time we go into the matter, he actually committed the offense. Nobody talked about it. I don't think anybody came and said, oh, it's our son, don't talk about it. And it's just at this Dubai thing, I guess the way it came. And that was and as of today, I haven't confirmed, but I think a death sentence has been...
It's likely.
I think it's been carried out on them. They should come out officially. I think so from the report I just got.
They've been convicted and sentenced to death?
That's what I just heard. I need to... Again, even those ones, we still talk to UAE. And say, can you...
Okay, let me take this call from Danjuma.
No, if you don't have their rules.
If you don't have prisoners of
and then wait, before you... And then those who said, why didn't you mention Kudirat? Kudirat, we had to tell the family. First. The ministry had to tell the family. It's not right to announce that your daughter has been killed. Right. Without it. So after informing the family, the name was announced the next day. As we announced the name the next day, another one carried drug, another Yoruba man, Shomadi, and it was announced. So we cannot tribalize crime. Okay.
Let me take this call from Danjuma. Are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Morning.
My honorable sister, Abike.
My honorable brother, Danjuma. Good morning.
Nice work.
Hard, though.
I appreciate what you people are discussing this morning, because that issue has become a very serious problem to Nigerians. And we Nigerians, it's like we don't think before we do. Some of us, I won't say all. These people know, and they have been hearing that anybody that carries drugs to Saudi will face firing squad. And they know that there is nothing you can compare with life. They still take the opportunity to try if they can live or not. They went and carried drugs. Saudi wants their place to be sanity. They want whoever that is coming there to know that it's coming to a genuine place. And that is why they place the law. Hello?
For
example, what our president is doing today, many don't want him because they want Nigeria to remain as a corrupt nation.
Right. Thank you very much, Danjuma, for your point. I think you've made your point on that.
Yeah, so my question,
in some countries like Malaysia, they won't even tell you. They catch you, they execute you. You won't even know.
My question now is for diplomatic missions all over Nigeria, to what extent is the powers that they have, I mean, apart from the persuasive powers that they have to talk with the countries, is there anything else that they can do, apart from just trying to persuade them? Is there anything else specifically that they can do?
Let me give you an example. Indonesia.
No, that's not it.
Okay, like in Indonesia, when they were going to kill 21 Nigerians for drugs, the then Minister Madrik actually went into, and I was part of the delegation, went to Indonesia, met everybody from the president to the Attorney General to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and the answer was the same, that this is our law, and we're going to, and They will not spare anybody. The same thing Saudi Arabia. They replied us and said, well, this is our law. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what country.
They are a
will not
sovereign
spare
nation.
you.
Okay, we lost the call.
But that doesn't mean Nigeria will stop.
Right.
Nigeria will not stop killing because your child is your child.
Right.
So no matter how bad your child is, you still want to see whether you can save him or her.
Another area of concern for me, serious concerns, is the unprofessional illegal migrants to Middle East. So Oman, UAE, Saudi particularly, where you have Nigerians trying to get informal jobs. The abuses they're so heartbreaking when you hear the way Nigerians are treated. Some videos come online. I get sent personal videos from a hospital where a friend of mine works, where they dump Nigerians, burnt, beaten, in all forms, and no police picks up that case. What are we doing to make sure these countries legalize this form of work and put human rights for these people, because they should have some punishment for bosses who maltreat Nigerians in those countries.
But before that, my sister, some of those videos are fake. There's one people, some people, but some are fake. But there are few that we have seen and we have intervened and we have saved them. There are several that, thanks to President Buhari, have returned. And as I speak with you, 13,000 have returned from Libya and some other parts, working with the IOM. So if I still got a distress call from you, and she came back.
Libya.
Right. So we once you get the calls, if you can identify the place, Nigeria brings them back.
Let me take this call from Macaulay.
So, okay.
Macaulay, are you still there?
Hello.
Okay, go ahead. Macaulay, go ahead.
Hello.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yes, hear me. Yeah, in as much as I appreciate what the government and Abike Dabiri is doing, when a law is set by nations, you must try all you can to obey that law. When Nigerians go into drugs and they come to Nigeria and they get free, don't have that notion that nations in the world will bend their law because of your citizens. It is left for the government of Nigeria to ensure that their citizens don't carry drugs and that no drug goes through their airport. Because you cannot ask a nation not to implement their law. It is their law. You have to obey. Right. If you are in a situation where you don't want to obey the law because you want to make quick money. That is the problem. We need to reorientate ourselves. We need to go back to our primary school and let our children know that these things are wrong. It should not be done.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Macaulay. Point taken.
So I feel that whenever we discuss this issue without mentioning how our lack of our economic challenges and how our economic challenges is also supporting these crimes, that we are not going to deal with the root cause of the issue. So one, Nigeria is economically challenged, and so we have people trying all sorts of things to make themselves get money illegally. Number one. Number two, I feel that if Nigeria is economically powerful and an economical authority with bargaining power, we will be better able to deal with these other countries because they need us for things.
Yeah, but that is exactly what President Buhari is trying to do. Ask yourself, and he says this all the time, what happened to all the money we made as a nation when oil was over $100 per barrel, about 140? What happened? Look at where we are today. With the little that President Buhari is earning, the smallest amount of money so far, and he's trying to do the best with it. So that is what he's trying to do, building a foundation. And then let's ask ourselves, what happened in the past? We're not saying we're going into the past, but we have to examine what happened. So what happened? Let's ask ourselves. So now you have a president who is saying this cannot go on. Okay, now they've created 60,000 jobs that will go out in the next couple of months. Look, some of those we brought back from Libya, we tell them, okay, would you want to do something? One of them said to me, look, I sold 4 trucks. Are you going to give me 10 million naira? Another of the girls will tell me, I beg you, I better money me I want to.
Right.
So it's about greed.
One of them, who is that the face of
the campaign?
A campaign of trafficking, Gift. When they got back from Libya, 4 of them came down. I gave them a number to call. I said, just call when you have a phone. 2 of them called back. One said, what do you want? This girl called. And we're able to enroll her in a school where she learned baking. And today she's the face of not traffic.
Okay,
So
let's
I
come
agree
on.
with
About
you.
poverty.
I agree that government must play its role, but that is
Those are
exactly
the
what President Buhari is trying to do.
Okay.
It's going to be tough, but we're going to get there.
Let me take this call before we're going to break. Hello, are you there? Been holding for a while.
Hello.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please. Yes, you're live.
I've listened to you guys, and I think we should address these issues the way it is. Nigerians worship money. Our orientation is wrong. You cannot expect a country to bend its law because here in Nigeria you can get away with anything. We should be sure that we obey the laws of the countries we are visiting.
Absolutely.
And there is no point crying over spilled milk. If you are caught doing wrong, let the law take its course. And if the law should take its course, it would serve as deterrent to others.
Okay.
You can imagine what is happening within the country today, where people are being tried for various offenses or being arrested and investigated and prosecuted with tribalizing.
Okay.
We want to
Oh, okay, let's go on a quick break. When we
Thank
come
you.
back, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So let's start with Nima. Go ahead.
So going to Saudi illegally, yeah, we know for those of them who have to arrange, but the agents who work there have legal papers to work. So the people there know where to go to get these informal workers. And the agents sometimes, most times, compromise and sell them into a slavery that they don't know anything about, only for them to get there and find out that they can't leave their organs and they can't come to the agents. Nothing will happen. That chain, that middle chain, what can we do to ensure that, you know, there's sanity within that chain and so we can hold people to
just like in the case of what was happening in Benin, where agents were moving people, that's the same thing happening in Saudi Arabia
Let
now.
me tell you the difference. The agents moving people, you know, you are going illegally. For Saudi, it's legal. The agents actually get the visas. So you get 14 children, you take them to see a doctor, he examines them, then you take these passports to the embassy and you get visas. So the agents have to get they are genuine visas. But when they now get there, they push them into various... But we've been saying that actually illegal migration can become legal. These jobs are needed. So we should move to a situation where we get the Ministry of Labor involved. How can illegal migration become legal? Or irregular migration become regular? The agent, look, you need this labor. You can regularize it. The Philippines, they're doing it. You can export labor. So we should move to a situation where we can export labor legally. And I believe that is the next level.
And then they should be free to come back when they don't feel...
And then it will be a legal thing. You go there, you may even be paid less, but you get your paid. So that's the thing that we should be talking.
Let me take this call from Benga. Benga, are you there?
Yes, my name is Benga.
From Abuja, go ahead, please.
The first time caller.
Welcome to the show.
You're interviewing one of my fans, Abike Dabiri.
Oh, so it's my luck.
Yeah, for me, we can all do something. It's not one person's business.
Absolutely.
Another thing we don't do in Nigeria, we don't promote enough of our people that do well outside Nigeria. You understand? So if we can promote our Nigerians doing well there, because in Africa we have the largest amount of black people. So if one Nigerian commits a crime, it will not, people will not think everybody is okay, all the Africans are Nigerians. So, but if we promote ourselves, the doctors, the lawyers, the businessmen doing well abroad, it gives us a good name against people.
Thank you very much, Benga. That takes me to some good news because...
But Benga, I'll just tell you, we've actually been doing that. It's just like I said, you pick what you want to pick. We've actually been doing that and bad news. So, but we have to continue to emphasize that. As we're talking about these cases now, we've had like 10 in the last 1 month that have excelled in it. And we've brought it out, we've congratulated them. But
going back to the issue of good news, because we read in the papers recently that I think about 24 billion being remitted from, is it $1 billion, $1 billion from diaspora? 26 billion.
The highest so far,
The highest
under
so far.
President Buhari.
Right. Being remitted from the diaspora, that's a lot of funds.
It is.
And I know part of your job as the special advisor. So what are you advising the president to do concerning these funds that is possible? What can we do? What can we do to get them properly and account for them and use them appropriately for Nigerians?
Thank you very much. You see, this remittances, first and foremost, as we've always said, is 4 times more than any aid. It's even 8 times more than budgets of some states. So it has sustained our economy. And that's why we're saying that you cannot ignore the Nigerian diaspora. So things we're doing, number one, we don't even have the accurate database. We're only working with estimates. We have to get that right. We're going to do our diaspora mapping. 2 is these remittances, you know, the inflows. This is away from the $500 that you are not even counting. Let me give this to Mariah when you get it. It's not even there. So we're going to be working with CBN to, you know, work more about this. And then we're going to have what we call a Diaspora Investment Trust Fund, where diasporas can invest, just choose a project and invest in it. In Rwanda, you get diaspora contribute just $10. Imagine a Nigerian in diaspora contributing $100 put together is going to be, and they're excited about it. But you see, now we have a commission that can make this happen. Right. So it's part of what we're going to plan. We're going to have a holistic diaspora policy where all these things will tackle. And one of the things we'll be looking at again is these remittances, however, taxes are high. Yeah. How come Nigeria pays the highest? Those remitting to other parts of the world don't pay as high as those remitting. Again, that we'll look into. And I'm sure with that, if we work harder, it can double. Right.
I'm excited about the commission. I'm hoping that everything gets finalized and it's...
We're waiting on the Senate. Senate, please, confirm.
Yes, I want it to be confirmed because you've been very active. But we have an issue that I'm very, very concerned and passionate about because we have this mass exodus of Nigerians. People are moving at an alarming rate and we're not seeing the response of government actively finding a way to stem and create incentives to make Nigerians stay. Professionals. For me, it's the doctors that are leaving and the hospitals are feeling it. So what exactly is the government doing you can't stop them from going, but incentivize those on ground to ensure that we would want to stay?
It's not going to happen overnight, but it's beginning to happen. Some are leaving. Many are also coming back. And I can give you statistics. So and those that are leaving, if you are leaving, you know, you're going to better yourself. Nobody can stop you. Nobody can stop you. You are still going to come back. So if you are going to develop yourself, as Indians have been doing, you're still going to come back.
So it's an advantage that they leave.
There should be, no. What I'm saying, you can't stop them. Okay. You know, if I want to go, you can't stop me if I feel I'm going to have a better life there. Right. However, that doesn't mean you should not, you know, there are those that have nowhere to go to. They can't even afford it. So I agree with you that government needs to do what it has to do, which is exactly what President Buhari is trying to do. As we move to the next level, he's going to consolidate on what he started. We have to tackle corruption. Don't let's deceive ourselves. Number one, growth. Yes, 3 things. Tackling corruption, tackling security, and the issue of the economy. Those are the 3 priorities of Mr. President. And it's going to happen. It's beginning to happen. Sanity is coming back to the system. And we'll have to get our values back.
Going to the incentives she talked about, bringing back those doctors, bringing back the professionals that live abroad, what incentives are we putting together to encourage them to come back? Even those that are going, we can't stop them.
For instance, for the doctors, you'll be amazed. There's a program we're working with the Ministry of Health. It's called the Diaspora Professional Healthcare Initiative. It hasn't even started, but about 200 have registered. All it means is that, you know, you can have a structured way of coming to your country and giving back. And then they're even saying, just give us a structure. We will equip a world-class hospital. So we're working on that. And even the incentives you are talking about, a lot of them are not even asking for anything. They've done so much. They want to, and no, they even want to give back. In terms of the system working, that is what, you know, is happening now to make the system work, because we came from...
Okay, let me take this call. Joshua, you've been holding for a while. Are you still there?
I'm a first-time caller as well.
Welcome to the show, Joshua.
My own class. Okay, thank you. Quickly, I pray that Abike Dabiri becomes a minister so that she can have a wider influence to actually promote kind of values she represents. And I think that's what is needed in Nigeria. Value at your height of we should never do anything or say anything to promote crime. There's no excuse for anybody to commit crime. The level at which we worship money in Nigeria is loss of value. Somebody has said this before. We need to emphasize that. We know that there are economic challenges, but there has never been a nation that will not go through phases of such challenges.
Right.
So there's no reason for anybody to commit crime, and we should not adduce reasons for criminality.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
you very much.
Good
Yes.
point.
Yeah, for me, sometimes I wonder how frustrating your job can be, because we're talking about young people going abroad, and even though we have success stories, we cannot deny that the negative ones are in our faces all the time. And we mentioned earlier about our card, our green card. It just seems like sometimes, it just immediately tags you as,
someone they should look into.
Yes. Someone that cannot be trusted. They are immediately profiled because you're Nigerian. And there's something that young people always say when we're talking about these Yahoo boys recently, and they keep going back to, well, why are you coming for us? Why are you not coming for those in top offices? So what is it? How do you manage to launder our image, knowing that not only are young people going abroad and doing things, people abroad are telling you the ones at home, the orgas at the top too are doing, so, how does it work?
These things, it depends on how you look at it. Somebody just told me a story 2 days ago. She was in Dubai, and someone looked at her. Oh, are you from Sudan? He said, oh, congratulations. You're from Sudan. Okay. Your president has, is just being kicked out or something. She said, no. He mentioned all the countries in the world. She said, no. She said, I'm from Nigeria. I said, wow, you're from Nigeria. You should be proud of yourself. Okay. And he started extolling the values of being a Nigerian. Wow. You see, I keep saying this thing. 419 does not have a Nigerian name. Criminality does not have a Nigerian address. And we should not allow ourselves to be stereotyped. Wherever I go with my green passport, if you want to search me the whole thing, it's okay. I'm not going to get angry with you. I'm not going to be rude. Do it. You're not going to find anything on me. So I will not allow myself to be stereotyped. And we all should not allow ourselves to be stereotyped. And you should go out with your pride and, and be proud of your passport up high. And let me tell you something. The respect that we have, you may say I'm being political, it's amazing. The respect the president has everywhere in the world. But I'm telling you the truth. Okay. Is the anti-corruption crusader, and we need to keep to that.
Let me take this call. You've been holding for a while. Abdul Hakim, are you there? Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I have a question for the special advisor to the president.
Right. Okay.
What about we Nigerians that might fall in trouble? That the embassy is not in Nigeria. How would the government go about it?
For countries that don't have embassies here, that don't have diplomatic ties with us.
Yeah. Okay, like for instance, a lot of issues happen in Oman, issue of trafficking, but we don't have an embassy in Oman. So you have to be solved by Saudi, which gets a bit more complicated. So there are issues with that, actually. It gets a bit more complicated.
Let me come to Nima, please. Go ahead, Nima.
Okay, I wanted to talk about the perception of leaders, so-called country, particularly the president of the US, recently said special stringent measures on Nigerians.
Where did he say so?
It was online. I read it online.
No. There's a ban on some countries. Nigeria is not part of them.
He said so many derogatory use.
Don't believe those things. Where did he say it?
Oh, I don't want to mention the shito countries.
No, but where did he say it? This was reported by a newspaper quoting a source. We need to be careful. And before you even talk about that, I have to remember this because I'm talking of fake news now. You've seen videos circulating about South Africa. Every video circulating is fake. There's one of people carrying things on their head saying Nigeria. It's a lie. There's one of it is a lie. Some of those are 4 years old. Some are not. Look, what has happened in South Africa in the last 2-3 months has been Nigerians killing Nigerians. So any death in the last 2-3 months have been draw call towards in South Africa. And I've been bombarded with calls. What are you doing? Look, in South Africa, thanks to President Buhari's intervention, 4 policemen have been arrested for their involvement in killing Nigerians. So let's be careful about fake news. Right. Before you say something, it has taken over the world.
I had an interview.
So I would not answer that question because I do not believe those things were real.
Okay. Now, I had an interview with the Minister Fashola, and he said something. I was asking about the Minister of Information, and he was saying, listen, every ministry should be able to speak and tell the people what they're doing.
Yes.
We don't hear anything from the ministries, the foreign ministries that are responsible for especially our foreign affairs and our citizens abroad. So my question is, I don't want you to speak for the minister, but we need people to talk. We see you, you're visible, we hear you, and when you talk to us, we understand that, okay, maybe something is being done. But is there any way you can advise the president to ensure that the ministers, especially those who are handling cases of the citizens abroad, tell us, give us these good stories, blast it on the papers. We don't see, it's only the bad stories we hear.
Sorry,
rather accuse me of that. I promise you will blast them more. Because when we blast them more, please use them more.
But Ma,
please use them more. But we have to do even more than that.
Yeah.
We have to do even more than that. We're going to do more engagements. Yes. But when we blast them, please, so...
No, Ma. We have,
because that's your question.
You see,
but for your advice, I'm sure.
Aside from Senate hearings, where the ministers have to speak, and we get that record, we don't see the minister speaking. It's only during Senate hearings. So maybe if we have press release on a regular, that the papers, you release the papers, they must carry the stories.
Because you hear from Minister Fadashola, radio is there, online is there, TV is there. Wait, what is it?
Your point is noted, and I agree with you that every,
minister should say what they're doing.
MDA should speak for
I have this call from Surulere. Thanks for calling. Are you there? Hello?
Hello?
Good morning, Mr. Babatope. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm very happy that this is a real opportunity to talk to Madam Dabiri.
How are you?
More with your help, but I know it's a very difficult task to speak for Nigerians in diaspora. Looking at the incidents and events that happen globally around the world, basically we are known for this bad thing, one negative thing or the other. But on the other side, I feel that the Nigerian government is too over-diplomatic at times, especially when it comes to countries whereby we are a big brother to them. They are smaller countries to us, for example, in Africa. And you see how U.S. handle some diplomatic matters as a big nation. When it comes to smaller nations, they will be big feet. And then everybody comes back to the table and talk. I've read instances whereby Nigerians, for example, in Ghana, being rounded up, and then the next thing is coming to Nigeria, shipping them back to Nigeria. The implication is that their businesses are gone, their money, everything they have in their account, don't with government forever. And then there is no chance for them to be tried in any law court. But these are our neighbors here. Yeah. So I feel that...
Thanks, Baba, for that point. So, obviously, our friends.
I agree with him. You can't be a big brother and get nothing in return. So we need to stand firm, and we're going back to be the giant of Africa. And the case of, which is what President Buhari is
I wanted to challenge you that we're big brother.
No, we are going back to become where we should be. We're taking our rightful place. We've had challenges, but you see, we're moving forward. And in the case of Ghana, talk about Ghana. Yes, we've had issues, but we intervened. President Buhari spoke to the president of Ghana, and immediately that matter was resolved. You can't do this to your brothers, and that was resolved.
The story I found embarrassing in the papers recently that said that the embassy in Russia, they didn't have proper toilets. What's happening with the funds going to our foreign missions? Because they're talking about, they don't have money.
They don't have enough money.
They don't have enough money. So the toilets...
It made papers.
That the money they get is not sufficient for 112, I believe, across the country.
Actually, I haven't been...
This is while facing the appropriation committee for their budget.
Well, unfortunately, I didn't follow that. I've never been to an embassy in Russia. Maybe when I go there, I can...
But let's go back to South Africa. I want to go back to South Africa.
I cannot...
Because this issue of xenophobic attacks, I want you to give us a proper official update.
Okay, let's break South Africa down.
Yes, please.
And please listen.
Okay.
We'll break South Africa down. The xenophobic attacks in South Africa.
Yes.
The last one that happened actually affected Malawians. And they called all the foreign envoys together, including Nigeria, apologized and said, we keep working at it.
Right.
The president of South Africa was in Nigeria. President Buhari took it up with him and he said, we are embarrassed about it.
Okay.
It's not what we want to happen, but we'll do everything. And he also went ahead and said, well, crime rate is generally high in our country, and it's something I'm also dealing with. And promised that no Nigerian is a subject of attack.
Right.
And like I said, 4 policemen are currently standing trial. Our mission attends the trial, it's been ongoing, and we want to get to the bottom of the matter. So that is a South African problem against an African problem. I think AU should intervene if it doesn't stop. Okay. It's not a Nigerian problem.
So families
now, 2, you haven't, xenophobia is there. 2, we've talked about crime. Then 3 is the latest one of we killing ourselves. Drug cult wars, which is making it more difficult for us. So if you're killing yourself, we're going to South Africa and say, help us get those killing ourselves, our brothers are killing. So it's going to get more complicated. So the Nigerian Union in South Africa, Nigerian community in South Africa, faith-based organizations must get involved because they know themselves. So because this will also continue to escalate. 25 have died.
Nigerians killing Nigerians.
Yes, in the last. So let's break all that down.
All right. Let me take Babatunde. Babatunde, are you there? Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Go ahead, please. Morning.
Yeah, I appreciate the effort. And I want to direct my question to Madam Dabiri.
Of course. Yes, all yours.
In as much I appreciate what is going on in the country, at the same time, we have to look to the fact that the economy of Nigeria is on downtrend. And it has really affected us that we have spent, overeating the policy, overstretching it, and pushing a lot of our people out to committing all these things. I just want to ask, what is the measure Mr. President and his cabinet taking to making sure that our economy is reverberated?
All right. Point taken.
Thank you very much. I think we've talked about that. Mr. President has told you that the economy is his priority, just as tackling corruption and tackling security. And as we move on to the next level, you'll see tremendous progress in all these areas. And 60,000 jobs will be created almost immediately. It's small.
Oh, yeah. But when we hear
but at least it's small. Okay. But again, small-scale entrepreneurs should be encouraged.
Okay, let's go.
Which is also what the government will be doing.
Come back.
Small-scale businesses.
We'll conclude this conversation with the Honorable. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Wow. Thanks to Chef Rachel from Wake Up Nigeria. She actually made the breakfast for our guests in Wake Up Nigeria, but unfortunately wasn't prepared on time. But now it's done, and she gave it to us.
And it's really nice.
And it's tasty. So please give a round of applause to Chef Rachel from Wake Up Nigeria. This tastes really good. Thank you very much, Chef. So go back. Let's
yes, I just
let's not eat and forget the real issue. Go ahead, Mariam.
So for a lot of families who their family members have been executed illegally or not for the right reasons, what are the legal options open to them?
Well, you have to prove that it's been done illegally. Yeah. We haven't had a case. You see, in the case of drugs, like in Saudi Arabia, I'm not speaking for them, but like I said, those 20 had the drugs on their bodies.
So it's a different.
So there are some on various jail terms. Yeah. So if there are still issues, and there are some that are still appealing.
Okay.
So 2 are about to be returned to Nigeria actually, but there are processes.
I wanted to ask about the UAE. So online there is official report saying that Nigerian passport holders can no longer get 3 months.
That's not true. That's not true.
They've come to say it's not true, but people that usually apply are saying that when they applied, they were not given 3 months; they were only given 1 month. So if they deny it, but they are doing it.
We'll look into it because, the president was in
I know they denied it. Yes, they denied it.
And even the ambassador said it wasn't true. But if you have cases, let us know, and then we'll be talking to them. And we keep saying, one bad apple should not spoil the whole bunch. Like the last time I went to Dubai, after this UAE thing, 5 were sent back from the airport. They said their passports were fake. They scrutinized their passports and had issues. So, again, we'll look into that. If it's happening, it's not right.
Let's take a few tweets.
So, a few tweets. Please, Auntie Abike Dabiri, email or any formal contact to report issues of diaspora. And Ogbeni Sar says, the truth is the recent so-called xenophobic attacks in South Africa are committed by Nigerians themselves. Do we all see what happened at a church in Anambra recently? It's all about the drug melee from Baron and drug kingpins.
Andrew says, Abike said government is trying. Please, trying is not enough. Put action to your trying, because they can be trying for years. Put action to your trying and your next level. Please, people are suffering.
Don Alabi says, let's stop and arrest them in Nigeria before they disgrace us abroad.
Yeah.
Ganiu says, if Nigerian security fails to perform their duty because of corruption, then those countries will perform their own duty because they are not corrupt and obey the law. So how are we tightening the issues in the airport here to withhold the drugs from leaving Nigeria in the first place?
Let me start with that. SSA, there's an email, ssa@diaspora.gov.ng. We get a lot of complaints, but don't email and say, look, I'm coming to Nigeria, are you going to give me a car? Are you going to give me a house?
You get that?
Serious? Yeah, we get that a lot.
Gosh.
But we take it as one of those things. But the serious ones we do attend to. And there was something...
Yes, so you should do more.
Yeah,
put
try.
action to
Yes,
train.
President Buhari will do more. I guarantee you that he will continue to do more. He's a sincere leader, and he believes in this country, and he will
Before
not
you answer
stop
the
doing
first
more.
question, can I ask you a
All of us.
question?
And then this one.
No, before you answer that, would you like to be Minister of Foreign Affairs?
What? How can you?
Would you like to be that? Would you like to? Listen.
I would like to be Minister of Women, like Morayo, and I would like to be Minister of Enjoyment. I'll serve in any capacity. So and it's not about title.
Right.
Let's get it right. It's not about titles. It's about what value are you adding.
exactly.
Even if you are to be doing this COP, what value are you adding? How are you doing it well?
Right.
Are you making a difference? So it's not about title.
Gotcha.
And then it's not that capacity that is the look. There are lower jobs that you'll impact effectively, and don't. So really, for me, title doesn't mean anything.
Just for comic relief, I need to say this.
Wait. Okay, comic relief before your question. What was your question again?
My question was based on Twitter, saying that can we stop? We can't disturb UAE and other countries from carrying out their own laws when we have not prevented the crime from taking place from here.
When this issue came, we said there are some recommendations. Number one, increase security surveillance at the airports, compulsory baggage identification, in particular Ethiopian Air and Egypt Air, and then and then you should be able to detect them here. NDLEA should do more about detecting the drugs here before they get out of the country.
So I was watching this show, How to Catch a Smuggler, on Discovery, and they caught every smuggler who was carrying drugs, everyone. And then this Nigerian guy came. You know he's a Nigerian guy. He said he called America Yankee. He said he was going to see his sister-in-law. I was so sure this guy was saying the truth. And all of the officials, the American officials, put their bets that he was a Nigerian and he was carrying drugs. So they took him in for a scan, and only him, of all the, I watched for 4 hours straight, only him wasn't carrying anything. They didn't find anything on him, but because he was jittery when they spoke to him, they put all their bets on him that he was carrying drugs. So we cannot even shake again at airport. Whereas the guy was just afraid that
it's one of those airport those programs.
Police, yes.
We have to round up because I'd like to give you the floor to tell us again in a nutshell, because Nigerians are scared that their brothers are outside the country, are in jail, they've been executed. It's really scary, So just give us a word of advice, especially those who are traveling to that part of the world, on how to ensure you don't give us a step-to-step process to ensure we don't get in that web of arrest.
Well, first is there's really nothing to be scared about. If you know you're not guilty of anything, there's nothing to be scared about. Don't be stereotyped. That green passport is a thing of pride, not anything to be ashamed about. So don't, like I said, 419 is not a Nigerian name, doesn't have a Nigerian address.
What is
there was an American who for years was parading as a Nigerian. When he was arrested, he was a 60-year-old American. So, and then the good ones in us, we are all ambassadors of our country. Yes. Let's be good ambassadors. I will keep celebrating the best in us. When one Nigerian commits a crime, 10,000 are doing great things. Yes. We need to say that more, celebrate ourselves as Nigerians. In the case of Zainab, the girl and another gentleman, the Nigerian government is working on it. The Attorney General is on the matter. We'll ensure that no Nigerian is punished for a crime that he or she did not commit. President Buhari is intervening, and he has instructed that must be done.
Thank you very much. I think we can wrap up on that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Right.
And thanks, lovely girls. You're just amazing.
Thank you.
You make me want to come back to broadcasting.
Thank you. Okay. Just people, do you know that she was born in Jos?
Yeah.
Okay, I have to remind our viewers for Monday's show. Easter Monday is going to be a different type of experience on Your View. Easter would not be complete without the essence of forgiveness. And Your View is embracing this essence. Share your stories of how hurt you were by someone and how difficult it has been to forgive that person. Email that story to PR@tvccommunications.com. PR@tvccommunications.com. communications.com. Happy holidays and see you Monday. This rice tastes good.
Let me enjoy my rice.
Yes, thank you very much.